First responders right here in the Quad Cities are preparing for a major train derailment after what happened in Ohio. Jonathan Fong live in LeClaire for us this morning with how teams on both sides of the river, Illinois and Iowa, are training for this sort of catastrophe. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, and it's a peaceful morning here in downtown LeClaire, but it was just 3 years ago in 2020 that there was a major train derailment just down the street from here along this stretch of railway. Now, I spoke with local first responders both on the Illinois and Iowa side, and they say through a mixture of training and equipment and cooperation, they're ready to handle any kind of train derailment catastrophe like this. Now, take a look at the video on your screen right here. This is the train derailment from 2020 that happened here in LeClaire. Now, on the Illinois side, I spoke with Chief John Winters, who's with the Silvis Fire Department. In the event of a large derailment or chemical spill, he says they can call on special teams through a network called MABUS to help with rescue, evacuation, and hazmat operations. Of course, the first priority in a situation like this is to immediately protect lives, but Chief Winters says they also have equipment and training to help prevent damage to the environment.
As far as the waterways go, we do have ways to try to contain certain products. If they float, we will put booms out. We will put what are called pigs out to try to soak up that product that's loose. The more we can contain, the easier it is for the environmental companies to come in and do a cleanup.
And Chief Winters says that his team regularly cooperates with other departments through MABUS, so when they have to work together, they're familiar with one another and coordinating efforts will be easier. Now, coming up later in the show at around 6:50, we'll hear from Scott County Emergency Services on the Iowa side on their role in helping to coordinate rescue efforts and evacuation and to help if a train derailment comes to our communities. Back to you, Ann.
All right, Jonathan Fong reporting live for us this morning in LeClaire. Thank you. Over 1,100 agencies across Illinois are affiliated with MABUS. 40 of those teams are specifically trained for hazardous materials. And federal officials are now releasing new details about what they think may have caused that toxic train derailment, the one in Ohio. We are learning now that the crew on board tried to stop the train before it derailed after a wheel bearing that had been heating up eventually reached over 250 degrees. A report from the NTSB references that surveillance video that you saw right there. It shows what happened moments before the train went off the tracks. At a news conference, Pete Buttigieg urging the rail industry to stop fighting safety regulations, and the Secretary of Transportation addressing why he did not come there sooner.
In terms of the timing of the visit, I'm trying to strike the right balance, allowing NTSB to play its role, but making sure we're here.
It could take up to 2 years for the NTSB to determine a final cause of that derailment. And could the proposed merger, this between Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern, increase the chances of a similar disaster here? Former Princeton City Alderman Ann Geiger sharing her concerns. That was back in August. Since then, cities up and down the Mississippi River have accepted settlement money from Canadian Pacific Railway. Geiger says that she is reaching out to several government officials to bring awareness to the dangers of having hazardous materials traveling so close to home.
There's water involved, a river, there are homes. The air quality seems to be the big thing that we haven't heard anything about, with bloody noses and all kinds of things like that. And that could happen here.
Last week, U.S. lawmakers asked the Surface Transportation Board to defer a decision on the merger until the board completes a Chicago region impact assessment. The board could issue a decision on the billion-dollar deal as soon as Monday.